Welcome to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, and we have with us in the studios today AIM 2013 winner and singer-songwriter Alex Subren. So we'll be talking to him all about his musical inspirations and so much more. Hello Alex, welcome to the studios.
Hi Tamina, nice to have me here. Thanks.
All right, it's great to have you in here finally. All right, so before we get started and rolling about your music and your inspirations and all of that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I came back from the bit about myself. I started music in about 2006. Started working with Ella, doing a bit of work with Faisal Tahir as well, in the studio, and doing a bit of sound engineering here and there.
I see.
And then progressed to songwriting, and then moved on to a bit of jingles here and there. And then I finally thought it's time for me to come up with my own music. My background, just a simple guy. Did a bit of IT.
Okay.
Bust and was in Australia for about 6 years of my life.
Right.
I have my PR out there. I jump back and forward. I'm a free thinker, like how you say, freelance. Just a easy, laid-back, cool cat that just jumps on whatever he thinks is right.
All right, awesome. Great way to put yourself in a bit of a nutshell. But has music always been a passion of yours, or is it something you came to later in life?
Okay, music's always been a passion of mine. I started at the age when I was like about standard 6. How old are you? Standard 6, 12 years
11,
of age.
12 of age.
12 years of age. I had an English school teacher who was, his name was Cikgu Kamarul Zaman.
Right.
And he used to have English and poetry in class. I think one of the first songs I pulled my guitar and played was 500 Miles.
Ah, all right.
Music's always been like something big for me. Like it's not about fame and stuff like that. It's very godly and spiritual.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird like that. It's like when I sing and I feel that I'm singing, I feel like I'm being reminded, keep on doing this,
Right.
So I've tried doing other professions and stuff like that, and I enjoy doing it. But this is me, my outlook, and the whole way that I carry myself. It's I like to look at myself as an expressionist.
An expressionist.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Just very artsy, fartsy. So yeah, music's been a deep side of me. Like I've always, every year, I excite myself wondering what else I would compose and what would come out of me.
Right. So it's like a chance to explore sides of yourself that you didn't know.
I guess so, yeah. I guess so, yes. Some people say it's a passion. Some people say it's a career.
That's
right. I'm kind of confused right now at my age.
Where do you stand?
Where is it really a passion or career? How do you classify something like this, So, yeah.
Something that moves you on such a level.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's very interesting that you said it's not about the fame. Now, how do you balance that with the reality of what being an artist today is all about? I mean, you've got to be out there, you've got to be in the social media, tweeting, Facebooking, Instagramming, and etc. Even if it is for, the good and the great end of getting your music out there. How do you balance it?
It's quite insane, actually. It's kind of hard to balance the whole thing out. I would say sometimes I do it because if I don't do it, I don't have a manager to push for me,
Right, okay.
Right. So I work on it by myself, but sometimes I think it's a bit like blowing your own horn and stuff like that. But you've got to ask people to vote for you. If you don't do it, if you don't push right now, how else are they going to vote for you? So I think it's pretty hard to find that balance. I seem to struggle with it as well. I've got another business partner who I work with, and we do a lot of murals and stuff like that.
Right.
So just bringing her into the story, she finds it hard to go out there and ask people to vote for her, but I can do that for her, and we sign off as the admin, But when it comes to me, I just tag people on Facebook and say, hey man, what do you guys think about it? And they're like, hey, we like the song, if you don't mind, vote for me. But I do kind of think sometimes it's kind of hard sometimes to ask people to go to like, hey, can you vote for me, But
yeah, it feels a little bit,
it feels weird, like, like I wish I had someone else to do it for me, but I guess that's the system right now, and that's what we have. And instead of going against it and getting upset with it,
people want to see, I think, a real face. For example, you've got, Beyonce, Madonna on Instagram, and they do what appears to be their own self-promotion.
But I think they're at a level that their publicist does it for them. So
there you go. But at the same time, it's like you don't have a publicist, so you have to do it for yourself. But how has it been working out so far for you?
It's been
What's
interesting.
the reception been like?
It's been good. But I think the real thing is about finding to do something that's real, you know, instead
Okay.
of some people who are musicians and artists, like they like to dress up and they like to look good. So like they love to take selfies. I'm not much of a big selfie fan, but I would take
Okay.
pictures of my dogs and my cats and stuff like that and put it up there.
All right.
And people go like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because that's real and that's the picture that I want to put up there, or food.
Okay.
So it doesn't really necessarily work that in the sense that, or if you're a singer-songwriter, I've just got to be posing all the time. Like maybe after this show, I'm probably going to take a selfie with you or ask the producer to take a picture of us.
Yeah,
And
but then again,
I
you
would put it
can
up
write
there.
your own story. You can, put up your own.
You could. So you probably use selfies in Instagram, like you could take short snippets of you playing music. Or singing.
True enough.
Or doing a bit of poetry. You know, just
Right.
do what works for you. So in this day and age, you've got to keep it real. And so sometimes, and you have to be, you got to be consistent with the whole posting up. Twitter, some people just put up
That's
stuff on
right.
Twitter. It's just insane about what they're eating, and I'm just gonna have a shower right now. I ate too much. I'm gonna spend
Right,
too long.
it floats that line of TMI or too much information.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very,
yeah,
very.
yeah. So I think you try and find a nice balance. I like taking pictures of artists doing their artwork,
Right.
murals and stuff like that. Interesting covers, CD covers. I like taking pictures of other musicians, other artists, and just putting it up out there. It's something that I like doing. So
Just
yeah.
people in action.
People in
Right.
action. Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah. I haven't really jumped into it. I have an account for Instagram and Twitter and stuff, but I don't really say that I tweet that much.
Right. Okay. But
Yeah.
it is there when it
It
needs
is
to
there.
be there. All right.
It is there. It is linked up. So if I take out a picture if I'm in the studio playing, performing music, here's the producer, here's so and so, and we do it. It really depends what sort of image you're carrying. I guess if you're doing branding for Versace or like
Perhaps.
H&M and stuff like that, Avenue K, which I have been doing actually. Sorry, and you got to be consistent.
right.
So
There you go. There you go.
like sponsorship and stuff like that. So I guess it's quite important. But for a musician like myself, sometimes I get too lost in it.
All right. Yeah. It's like a huge maze, and you sort of need to navigate through it yourself.
Yes, and sometimes like what am I doing here? I'd rather
Right.
want to be creating music and stuff like that. Yeah, so
Yep.
that does work for me a bit like that. A bit weird sometimes. Yeah.
So let's talk about how that started. How did you actually get into linking up with local artists, people you have collaborated with, all the way from Ella to other people who you've been featured on, for example, Tasha Bashir's EP and things like that. So it's a lot of, you've got a good mix of, I would say, the commercial artists, the commercial giants, as well as the indie or the underground scene.
Yeah, Tasha Bashir, that's interesting. She's a very cool cat. I like a lot. I mean, like, it's working with studios. You just jump into the studio, you meet people, you talk to them, and you give them their what songs you have. And people go like, "Hey, I like your stuff," or they get to hear you sing and stuff like that, and like
Right.
and it's important for you to jump to every studio and find out what a sessionist does. Okay, you're a guitarist, what sort of work you do, who do you work with,
Right.
who's a musical director. So I'm a bit of a chatterbox, so I
Okay.
would just talk with anyone, randomly, whoever, a sweeper by the roadside or whatsoever, it doesn't
Right.
bother me. So that's I think that's how it progressed. And I think people as well, they come up and say, hey man, who's going to do backup vocals for me? Who's going to guide me in my vocals? Can you help me out? Blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And we just introduce other people. Who's going to print my CD? Where should I go?
It's a huge network. It's a collective,
It's
really.
a huge network. Music is really big. I mean, like, it really depends where you want to be, whether you want to be a producer, whether you want to be a singer, songwriter, a person who writes lyrics, you want to be an arranger, it's sometimes people think it's one person wearing a lot of hats, but back in the day, it's just one
Right.
person concentrating on a few different angles, and it's a small industry in Malaysia. So
True enough.
you
And-
just meet people and just chit chat with them, and gigs, perform at gigs, at live
Right.
gigs and stuff. That's the best way to get known out there.
That's right. All the open mics that happen around town
Exactly.
these days.
Just go up there and go up to a musician and tell them, "Hey man, you rock. You sound great," because that helps them.
That's right. That's right. The support, it really does.
It
I
does,
mean,
it
wherever
does.
you go, it could be a comedy show, it could be a live music performance. Now, how did you get to your aha moment of, okay, I'm a singer-songwriter, not just somebody who's an artist who does what other people tell him to do? Or was it always that way?
Actually, I'm in a sea of tools that I'm not sure which tools to use. Actually,
Okay.
you get chucked inside there, and you're not too sure which tools to utilize. Singer-songwriter is because I enjoy composing music. I realized I was able to compose music for rappers and other people, indie singers, and I've got this huge range of stuff that I do compose, and I just start putting beats on top of it, and I just realized that's pretty interesting. That could go somewhere, you know. Like,
Right.
But the first few times that I've done it, people like. I didn't think much of it until I let a few friends listen to it and they say, hey, I think someone would buy that. I said, are you serious? I said, yeah. And so that's I started working on that. But I wouldn't consider myself to be a person who's considered to be an actual producer.
Right.
You know, I would just say, yeah, I do compose a few beats, and then I take it to a sound engineer, he mixes, and then we get it mastered, and then yeah, people do buy those beats. But as opposed to being an artist out there, I've got no problems with people who go out there and do it. I've modeled for the people for famous fashion designers like Kai Kazami and stuff like that, you know, like we all work on each other and leverage on each other.
Yeah, you sort of
know?
work off each other's vibe and see where it goes.
And you just see whether it works for you. Sometimes, yeah, I love their clothes. I mean, I'm in a modeling mode. I feel like, hey, I want to wear this and go out for AIM, and I'll wear it. But sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Right.
And it's nothing to do with the fashion designer. It's just that I'm an expressionist. This is why I left my 9 to 5 to do this. And if I don't feel comfortable doing it, why should I do it?
That's right. Don't be put in a box when you got out of
Yeah.
that box in the first place.
But I guess if you're tied down with a major label and stuff like that, then I guess you probably have to do what they ask you to do and be
Right.
happy about it and compose the music that they ask you to compose and
Right.
stuff like that. So if you've got enough backing as an indie artist, then you can just work on everything yourself.
Right, okay. So like talking about labels, who would be like a brand, it could be local or international, that you would love to work with, musical or otherwise?
Well, I've spoken to a lot of labels and stuff like that. I think in the sense of a label and a manager, right, I really think it's like if an artist goes and speaks to a label, they're in depth to the label. If you start, it's a game of poker actually, you know.
Right.
It is. It really is.
Not Russian roulette?
It's something a bit like that. Yeah, you know, like so they give you the basic contract that you have. But if you have
Right.
a manager, and let me say, when I say manager, it doesn't mean someone that you just go and pick up, you know, and then just say, hey, can you be my manager? And that guy
That's
charges
right.
you 5K. A manager must be someone who loves you and believes in what you do. He
Okay.
can be representing a few other artists as well, but they're like, I love what you do.
There you go.
It speaks to me. That cat would fight for you and talk to labels. That cat would convince labels. Now it's a whole thing. I don't know
It's
whether
this
you call
whole
it
mangled sort of
mind
ecosystem, I
manipulation
think.
or whatsoever. I'm not sure
Okay.
whether you call it that, but it's
Mental projection.
mental projection.
Okay, let's go with that instead.
So it's something that you get them to believe it. Then you know you're in the music industry. You got to keep on writing stuff to keep people excited. You know,
That's right, to keep
So
them interested.
I could say like I would love to work with Warner, EMI, BMG, Sony, whoever, you know. But if they're just going to take me and park me there, what's the point? Really, what's the point? You know,
That's
I'm just
right.
there. My music's there. It's being parked. I'm not going on tours. I'm not going on shows. You know, like
Right.
if there's an indie label, it's Alex, you rock. You suit us. There's a circuit here. We're going to put you on this circuit.
Yeah, you'll be doing 100 shows this year.
Exactly.
Something like that.
That's it. And that's actually exactly what I want. And that doesn't really mean that major labels can do that for you. And that's not true.
That is also true.
Yeah, you know, so like you need someone who believes in you. So if I were to go to, as opposed to someone who's really established in industry, like say M. Nasir, if he was to go to Warner and say, hey, I'm going to do a show like this, blah, 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 you know, they'll set the whole thing up. Yeah, we got the budget for you. But if
Of course.
someone is like me, if I went there, I'm not too sure, maybe, yeah, we can do this. You know,
Yeah, let's
like,
look into the logistics, etc.
yeah,
first.
someone under me, but who's just starting off, you know, below me, they'd probably just like, look, I'll call you back later.
Right.
You know, so it works like that. So for me, what it really is like, as an artist, you got to keep people in the industry excited. You got to
Okay.
keep the labels excited. You got to be out in the media all the time.
Okay.
You know, you got to be you got to keep reminding them that you are here and you exist.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's all about staying relevant, really.
Staying relevant. That's right. Yeah.
Right.
I think labels in America and Australia, they do pretty well in the sense that they how would I say they've got tour circuits and
That's
they put
right.
you on those tour circuits, you know, so you can take off 3 years or 2 years of your life and tour and you can see whether it's going somewhere, whether the public actually loves your music and loves what you're doing.
That's right.
We
Before
don't
you
really-
even have like a public profile per se.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
And you'll even
Got it.
understand. Okay, look, I think this life is for me. You know, I want to do this, but not really. Not say anything bad about Malaysia, but we don't have a tour circuit. Yeah.
That is right. I mean, what we do have is some gigs and you
Yeah.
know and some festivals which are on a much smaller scale.
That's right.
Yes.
And not everyone is involved with it as well. Because a lot of people come up and ask me, and they say, "Hey man, how have you done it? You made it. Congratulations. How have you done it?" And it really, to be honest, it doesn't really matter like who you are and what you're doing. I mean, like I mean, there isn't a certain path that you go about it. There's so many ways that you can go about it. And it's if your journey works like this, it works like this for you.
Right.
My journey works like this for me. It'll open up certain doors for me. This will open up certain doors for me. So you never know. You just got to keep on trying. But what I would say to people out there is really just keep on doing YouTube videos.
YouTube videos.
That's
Okay,
right.
Yeah, we were just talking about social media, and so do you have your own YouTube channel? What is it that you do with your music, your sound?
Well, lately I've started really sitting at home and programming a lot of stuff on Logic on my Mac, you know.
Okay.
Okay, just like real nerd, full on at home. There's nothing wrong with nerds out there and stuff like that.
No, absolutely. It's all better if
were
you
you a
can
nerd
do your
before, sorry?
back end work.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You always depend on people. As a musician, I always end up depending on people like, hey man, can I use your studio? Hey man, you know, can we use the mic? Hey man, can we use this? I got so fed up with it, so I just bought everything and just got everything there.
Right,
And
okay.
then like, you know, how do you do this vocals? How do you do that? And I was like, nah, just do everything by yourself, so you don't depend on people, you know. Otherwise, it lags and it takes even longer.
Of course, it takes time for everyone to come together and collaborate.
And music is so subjective because this guy will say so much and that guy will say something else, and they probably don't want to work together. And they have different ideas. I mean, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself, you know.
There you go. And what if the moment is gone, so it's lost?
Yeah. So I'm out there. I'm doing a lot of work with people in the front line, but I've also come to a conclusion. For me, I need to do more YouTube videos and put them online because I realized then you have a pull and you have a crowd.
Right. Okay.
Right, you know,
It's
so-
almost like your voice is out there. Whenever, wherever.
So if a musician says like, "Hey man, you know, I wanna play in Stadium Merdeka like this and all that, you know, I wanna do
Okay.
this," okay?
All right. Might
Very
sound
sim-
like pie in the sky, but
Yeah, just ask them a simple question. Okay, I'll get Stadium Merdeka for you. How much of a crowd can you pull in?
right.
Simple, very simple.
Okay,
So
all right.
that I proposed that question to myself, like, hard rock. How much of a crowd can I pull in? Where is my crowd? Who is my crowd? Who loves
There
me?
you go.
You know, that's where you can start working. It's not just you put some stuff on Facebook and people think, you're a big hero. It doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
I guess
It's like a progression of moments, right?
progression of moments, and I mean like online media, social media. The best thing is like just do covers of current songs that's happening, take them and make it into your own
Yeah,
rendition.
absolutely. I mean, I have friends who've got a brilliant voice, but
Yeah.
a lot of them are hesitant to take that next step because they go, but you know, I'm like, sing.
It is
You
should
should
true.
sing.
You should sing.
All right.
Because a lot
Okay,
of
so what
it-
we'll do is we'll just take a quick break.
Yep, sure.
And when we're back in the studios, we'll come back to Alex Subrin, so do stay with us.
Travel, not because I like to travel. I travel so I can say this. What you're looking for is inside of you, and you should be in peace.
Prem Rawat has been traveling for 40 years, inspiring people around the world to find peace within.
I go and I talk to people, and I present them with the possibility of themselves discover the peace that lies within you.
Kavita, Meling, dah set ke belum?
Sikit je lagi, Puan.
Apa menu kita hari ni?
Semua menu sihat. Ikan bakar, sup ayam, sayur-sayuran. Banyaklah.
Puan, banyaknya guna minyak. Bahayakan kesihatan lah.
Betul lah macam ni. Saya dah kurangkan separuh dari biasa ni.
Cuba rasa ni. Sedap tak?
Biar kurang masin, jangan lebih.
Betul tu. Kita kena kurangkan minyak, gula.
Garam dan santan dalam masakan. Barulah ramai pelanggan datang ke kedai kita.
Semuanya
sihat belaka.
Menyelami realiti. menjejaki masa, meninjau peristiwa, paparan kronikal kembara kehidupan, pelbagai keunikan juga pengalaman menarik. Segalanya disorotkan selama setengah jam dalam channel Bernama setiap Ahad jam 9.30 malam hanya di Bernama TV.
Welcome back to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, and our in-house guest at the studio, Alex Subrin, singer and songwriter. All right, Alex. So as you were talking about, you're talking about how difficult it is for people to get started in the music business. For example, Malaysia doesn't really have the mass media machine of, let's say, the South Korean pop industry.
Okay.
So what does a kid out there today in Malaysia do if he wants to become a musician, earn a living, for example?
I would say keep your 9 to 5. This is my best advice. Keep your 9 to 5. Do whatever you're doing, even though your heart tells you, oh my God, this music's my passion. I can't live without it. You don't understand. It's like, no, it's okay. It's fine. You know, you still need to get a loan to buy a house. You still need a credit card. You still need stuff like that.
All right.
So keep what you're doing and just do a lot of YouTube videos and put them up online. You know, and wait. Someone told me something very important, which is what we don't practice as true musicians. Never ever put a price on your art.
Okay,
Never
ever
put
a price on your art.
Keep on just doing what you love doing, right? And that those prices and all, it will come and find its way. Problem is, we go out there, yeah, I can sing, I can do this, yeah. How much you would charge for a show? And there we go.
Right.
You know, like if people love what you do, they just call you up and say, hey man, whatever you're charging. And it's like, what, really? Yeah, 10K. We'll just, I think that's one of those things that those avenues that where we just, our breaking point, and we just give in.
Right.
And because if we don't give them a cheaper price, there are other bands that come in and cut.
Everybody's undercutting everyone in the industry.
You know,
it's that sort of an atmosphere.
That sort of a thing. But I would just advise them, just do loads of videos, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you look like, or how you look like, or what your race is, or whatever it is. If you have 200,000 fans on your page,
right, and the numbers kind of speak for themselves.
Exactly. That's all people look at. It's dollars and signs, you know,
right.
And dollars and ringgit signs, right?
Okay, dollars and ringgit.
Dollars and ringgit was that's pretty much it. I would say so. You know, like a lot of do go around to your local pub circuits. Which we have a few bars around here in KL.
Of course.
Can I mention them?
Yes, of course, please.
Like Waikiki, Backyard, you know, bars in Hartamas, the Bee, you know, in Publica.
They've got loads of all these cafes coming up where they're
right.
more than welcoming to artists, you know, anyone who's got a guitar or anything.
That's right. Merde Karya in PJ.
That's right.
You know, a lot of young talents are there. I find a lot of people from the art section of Actor Studio and stuff. They're all down there. All these new and upcoming artists, go and meet them, talk to them, you know. They're all from KL Pack and stuff. Talk to them and find out what they're doing. Right. You know, how is it different from their life, you know?
Exactly.
Sometimes people have this huge, kids these days with, you know, everything on media and stuff like that. There's this huge illusion that they think, oh my God, he's made it, he's done that. And yes, he has. You know, you've won a certain amount of awards, but you still, how are you surviving? That's a bigger question.
There you go.
And I would actually...
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Behind the scenes. I would actually think an actual video that you do online would be more effective than a music video, because it's real. Currently,
yes.
Reality, so it's real. People want to see, oh,
exactly.
he messed up. Oh my God, he did not hit that chord. You know, so you did.
Or, you know, he's shy before he starts singing, you know.
Or he sweats when he's singing, you know.
There you
Stuff
go.
like that, you know. So you go through all of that. It'll make you or break you to be a better person, you know. And you did the best that you could do at that point in time. So don't kill yourself over it, you know. Like, you know.
All right. Yeah. So I think that's something that's an important message to take away.
Yeah,
now, what about you yourself? I mean, aside from music, let's talk about some of your other interests. You were talking about the way that you're always with your artist friends, with muralists and etc. So, do you have a personal interest in it? Do you draw yourself?
I do a bit of work with a company called Hykaur, Hykaur, and
okay.
She was the same person who did the design for this album cover.
All right.
And Yeah, and we won an award for it from Vima. I got very excited because
Yes, you won Best Album Cover for this.
That's right. But I think it actually goes to her, actually, you know, with the whole idea of it. I think just doing it in the very first part, I was very, very like, I don't know, I was a bit curious, like, you know, how does she represent?
Yeah, if you could just zoom in and we could have a look at the art.
There
As you
you
said,
go.
it's something that represents chakras.
Chakras, that's right. There you go. And I just got really interested in like how people created art and based on the music that you compose. And sorry, do you want to have a look at that? Yeah.
All right, yes. Okay.
So I got very interested, and we just started doing murals for people. We do trunks and stuff like that.
Right.
Bridal trunks, what you
Bridal
call it. Yeah.
trunks,
So we
okay.
actually take
That's
them down,
interesting.
sandpaper, the whole thing, and then we cater a lot to the Punjabi community. You know?
I see. All
yeah.
right.
So we found some sort of a niche that she does, you know, that is interesting, and yeah, we just work on that actually.
Right.
Yeah, so it's more of like a business that is on the side, that's sustainable, that pays the bills here and there.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's, yeah.
And that's
it's-
interesting because I would say a lot of Malaysians still would have the perspective that, oh, okay, murals and graffiti are about the same thing. What's the difference?
Define
it for
graffiti
them.
artists, what do you spray cans and stuff like that. I mean, it's more hip hop. I think graffiti art is a bit more hip hop these
Right.
days, you know. Mural, we use acrylic paint. That's right.
Okay,
She's gonna kill-
acrylics.
Acrylics. She does acrylics, and we do them on walls, and it's a paintbrush to the wall, basically, you know. So
I see.
Yeah, and it can go for days, and you know, sometimes 2 weeks and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the difference. Actually, I think it's spray can. Graffiti is more in spray cans, if you
Right.
ask me. You
This
know?
one is more fine-tuned.
Fine-tuned. That's right. You know, so and it's very psychedelic, I would say.
Psychedelic, all right.
A bit more
okay.
spiritual, if you ask me. It's got a bit of a connection there. I don't know. It's
Yes,
yeah.
you've got the chakra designs and things coming from more of a spiritual background.
That's right. So sometimes people, when they wake up and they say like, "Hey man, my office is like this, and you know, like my bedroom's like this. You know, I just came up from a bad breakup. I want to have a peacock or tiger. You know, what do you think? I want to change my whole room." I'm just like, "Hey man, we'll change it for you. We'll do this." So restaurants, we go and work in restaurants. Just ask them, just go inside there with a catalog and say, "Hey man, do you think you want us to do something on that wall for so
Nice.
much price?" And it's like, yeah. So I do a bit of canvassing in that sense.
Right.
I'm actually doing that to actually answer your question is because I enjoy doing it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So people
That is
go
also
like,
another passion.
Yeah. So people always ask me and say like, "Why are you doing that? You're a musician. Like, why are you going from one shop to another shop?" But I said, I don't find anything wrong with it, you know. So I
And
go
there isn't, because I think the perspective, especially, I wouldn't just say Malaysia, Asia, the multidisciplinary aspect of being an artist
Yeah.
is not really something that's common over here.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely true. But yeah, that's it. So people always end up asking me and saying like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, why aren't you busy shooting a music video, for example?
Yeah, my free time, I can't always be shooting music video. I need some budget for it. You need people to come back you up for it as well, you know.
That's
but
right.
I would say like I enjoy doing this. I love her art and I love what she does, you know. And we're in a company together. And do you know when you love doing what you do, it's not really work.
That's right.
When you
Absolutely.
just go canvassing to one place to another, it's like, hey, you're that singer, right? So yeah, do you do this? Yeah, I love doing this. You know, and
Yes.
you could probably paint your table, paint your car, do something like that.
I also do this.
I also do
Absolutely.
this. So people think it's contradictory and it lowers your status. I think, oh, please, come on, seriously.
No,
You know,
not at all.
It doesn't.
I think
go.
it's way time to move past those stereotypes and
That's
you know,
right, yeah.
expectations, really.
Just like how busking is coming up new into the country and stuff
That's
like
right.
something that's coming
Absolutely.
up. Yeah.
I mean, we did have some, big winners from the busking as well
Oh, yeah.
at the recent awards.
Recently, yep, definitely.
Yep. So all that is all good. Now, tell me a little bit about, so you have a really busy schedule, just looking at it, from an outsider's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But what does a typical day in the life of Alex Subrin look like?
Okay.
If there is something
there
like
is.
a typical
The
day.
musicians, a lot of people who are, I don't know, comedians, musicians, some of us can be pretty manic depressive and stuff like that. Yeah, it's very true. Some of us can go, like, you can fall into, like, a lot of bad stuff in life, like, when you have a 9 to 5, you get up, you are programmed. Okay, I got to be here at this time. Otherwise, my boss, I'm gonna get it from my boss.
That's
right.
right. There's always something to go to.
traffic. So, what motivates you? Fear. It
Okay,
is-
good one. Absolutely. I think it's not often discussed, but it's the
Yeah.
I need to be that 8:55.
I need
Any
to-
later than that, and I'm done for.
Yeah, so we're always
There you go.
rushing for it. Now, being a musician, and this took me many years, and like creating your own schedule, you've got to wake up prior to sleeping. I mean, like you've got to write down all these notes. Tomorrow I wake up, this is what I'm going to do. That's so I
Right.
write down notes. I come on a pen and paper again every day, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm writing what I got to do for tomorrow." I said, "That's so kitty." I said, "No, it helps."
No, not really. You got to have a game plan.
So I don't
Okay.
even put it in my phone. I just pen and paper, write it down, and stick it up there, blah blah blah. And I tell myself before I go to sleep, okay, you gotta get up at 7 o'clock, 8
Right.
o'clock, feed the cats, dogs, blah blah blah. Go for a jog, run, start work. I start work the same time you guys start work, from 9 to 5, and I finish it
Alright.
off at that time. You
Yeah,
know.
there you go.
And it's minus off interview hours and stuff like that. So I allocate a certain amount of time to learn new songs. I allocate a certain amount of time to, like, I've got to work with these tunes. And even though I don't have an idea, I just play the songs, and then I just listen to them, and then I allocate another 2 more hours. Let's listen to what's currently going on, and then I spend another about few more hours going through marketing for the art
Right.
collections that we have and
It's
stuff.
very
like
all
that.
encompassing, but it's you do have fixed work hours that you make for yourself.
You do
Right.
you do, and then there's a lot of time that you I mean you spend your time wisely. Otherwise, you could just sit there and nothing will move.
There you go. And that's the point I wanted to highlight, because a lot of people out there might think, okay, your ex is a musician. I bet all he does is, wait around for inspiration. I think there's nothing further from the truth than that.
That is so true, because a lot of people come up to me and say, "Hey man, oh, you gifted, you can sing." I was like, you couldn't be so wrong, because I used to sing like a frog. People wouldn't let me even
Right.
have. Yeah, people like,
Wow.
you can't. No, I like stay away from my guitar. It's like I was determined to do it. I used to sing like totally wrong notes, and I wouldn't be shy. I just carry on singing, and people are like, "Oh my god, it's really bad." Then I just started learning how to do it. I didn't have any formal training playing the guitar or whatsoever. I just asked a few friends. I used to play Chinese songs actually when I started off. I didn't even know how
Right.
to sing. I just like mime them and stuff. But
Right.
I work very hard for it. Every day when I wake up, I hit my scales. I make sure I hit my notes when
You
I
do
go
your
out.
vocal exercises to open up
Yeah.
everything.
I buy DVDs from
A
America.
to Z every day.
Yeah, I mean, like before my shows, I'll just do my warm-ups and stuff like that. People are like, "What are you doing?" I'll be in my car shouting, blah, 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 blah. It opens it up. It warms your whole body up,
Of course.
And like before I jump on stage, I practice. People are like, "What are you doing?" I do exactly what Freddie Mercury does, So that takes a lot out of me as well. But that's what I want to do. That's what I love doing, And that's it's tougher. It's much more tough,
It's tougher.
It's much more tough. But if you enjoy it, and when you get paid, you feel fulfilled. Things are good.
True.
It's like your own business. You're running your own business. So I think a lot of people get it confused. Like, oh, I can sing a little bit. Like, I'm going to go out there and sing. It's a whole massive lifestyle that you got to work around. And not
That's
get
right.
influenced by the wrong things, the nightlife and stuff.
Right,
So you're
and at the
gonna
same time, keep your focus and also keep working towards building up your portfolio as well as, your
Yeah.
influences.
influences.
Yeah.
Yes,
So let's talk about your influences. Who influences you? What type of music do you listen to in your
varies.
downtime?
It varies a lot. When I came up with the album first, I was writing stuff that was very mainstream.
Right.
I had an approach to how I won the AIM award was because I had an idea, like I was gonna get the attention of the public.
Right.
And
Fair
so
enough.
I wrote a lot of mainstream stuff, and I listened to it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And a lot of people turn around and say, Alex, you can sing and speak in Malay very well, Bahasa Malaysia very well. I was like, thank you. So that's out there. And now that I have it on a CD, I can listen to it and like, yeah. But I think you evolve as a musician. So
Of
when you
course.
listen back to it, you go like, that's cool. But I've got this really new stuff that I dig. I don't care what you guys think about it. I love this stuff, and that's where I am right now. And that's the kind of music that I'm playing. So it's very arpeggiated and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's more before I was doing this for you guys. Now I'm doing this for myself. If you want to have a listen, yeah. But this
Why
is
not? Come in. You know what they say, the revolutionary of yesterday is...
Yes, and so I think that's where I am. I started off with really pop stuff.
Okay.
I used to like different artists before. I still like them, but I started off with 12 Bar Blues, and I was like big fan of Hendrix, B.B. King, and stuff like that. I still
Right.
love them. Then I moved on to like really people who really sang and really hit those notes, you know. I started listening to albums where, you know, like, oh my God, this is what I want to leave behind. When I listen to Freddie Mercury and I listen to his songs, right, you know, like they inspire me to wake up and write a new song or to get out of bed, you know. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to leave behind when I die. So that's
a legacy of songs.
A legacy. Jeff Buckley. Now I'm into like very progressive stuff, like the Mars Volta.
Okay.
You know,
awesome.
so my mom would be like, what? You know, Cedric Zavala and Omar Rodriguez, like, so, and that's why you understand this, it's very subjective and there's so many things that you can learn from music,
From music itself, right.
Yeah.
So hold that thought. We'll just take a short break.
Sure.
And when we're back, we'll be talking more to Alex Subrin about inspiration, self-discipline, and a whole lot more.
Latest headlines, illuminating visuals, everything right and now on Bernama News.
Sedar tak kita tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, keadaan iklim yang tak menentu sekarang ni. Perubahan iklim meningkatkan kejadian kemarau, derebu, banjir dan ia menyumbang kepada perubahan iklim yang berlaku secara drastik. Inilah dia faktor-faktornya. Yang pertama, asap dari kenderaan. Yang kedua, penebangan dan pembakaran hutan. Yang ketiga, pembebasan asap dari industri perkilangan. Dan yang keempat, pelupusan sisa buangan. Ini usaha yang Pak Abu buat, iaitu yang pertama, menanam pokok. Yang kedua, mengurangkan atau tidak menggunakan beg plastik. Yang ketiga, mengasingkan bahan buangan. Yang keempat, mengitar semula bahan buangan. Dan yang kelima, memilih barangan dari bahan kita semula. Ada banyak lagi usaha yang boleh kita lakukan. Antaranya, kurangkan pemanduan kereta persendirian dan banyakkan penggunaan kenderaan awam.
Anda adalah sebahagian daripada penyelesaiannya.
Menongkah batasan masa, mengupas isu semasa, menjadi saluran pelbagai suara. Segalanya baru dan benar di Berita Bernama TV.
Welcome back to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, and in our studios, Alex Subrin, AIM 2013 winner and singer-songwriter. Right, Alex. So as we were saying, we were talking about what it is that, you know, the younger generation, and especially those aspiring to be musicians, need to be doing to get their own name out there.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you, like all the way from when you decided, all right, you know what, music is an option and I want to explore it, to getting to a point where you thought, okay, I think people know what I'm doing and what I'm about? How long did that take?
Okay, I'll be honest about it. I don't know. I mean, like, I mean, if you don't plan, you don't have a plan, you pretty much plan to fail.
Okay. All right.
That's what they say. But in creating music, there is no process and there is a process.
There isn't and there is.
So you have, if you can understand that, it's sort of how you understand, for me, how you understand life as well. So people are like, oh, you don't have a plan, it's something you come in and come out. I was like, hey, let's not be too anal about the whole thing, you know, like let's just like focus on it, just like it was more spiritual. It was through breakups for me. I went through massive bad breakups and I wrote songs as the and people like, hey, I feel you, you know. So, and I think I just started looking at the artists, said this is the way that I want to go. But I maintained the 9 to 5 as well and still played music. But I think I really started taking it as a career when I just came back from Australia, which was in about 2011, 2012 was it, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah,
right.
2012,
okay.
Middle of
not all that long ago.
Not all that long ago. I let out 1 or 2 singles here and there. I was working in Fitness First. I was working in a few companies. You wouldn't believe that I'm doing IT in Exxon Mobil before.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like in the
so you worn many hats, and you know you worn some like to pay the bills, and at the same time you've always come back to the passion.
Yes, and at the end of the day, I think it's really what your mind is open to. and what you want to accept. You know, sometimes people go like, oh, I can't do a 9 to 5 and I can't do music. Yes, you can. If you have a mindset to it, but if you go, oh, I can't work here, you definitely can't work there. You know, so that was it. I think it took me for a while. I think about 5 years. Now it's been a period of 2.5 years that I've actually been earning money from just playing music, and that's pretty interesting and tough as well, because you got to be able to play songs and sing songs and go to bars and do that
and actually, you know, publicize yourself enough people that want you at their shows.
That's right, you know. So and then we do weddings as well and stuff like that, you know. So and mind you, when we do these events, I still do covers. So you're not going out there and singing your own material.
That is also true. That is also true.
So you have to do covers. So you do covers here and there, and then you probably ask the crowd after doing 3 covers, hey, would you guys like to hear something interesting? I've got this song, and they go like, yeah. And then you sing it.
They're open to it because, you know, they like what they heard on the covers.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it now.
That's how you navigate and put it in between, you see. But you can't just come up there and do a whole set of your own stuff.
Yeah, but you make your own currency. Maybe you can, you know, infuse your own flavor into whatever cover you're doing.
Exactly right. That's what you do. So I think you've got to follow. I've been doing that lifestyle right now, I think about 2.5 years to about 5 years. Because I was busking as well in Australia. I was having an IT job, and after I finished my IT job, just went my shirt and my pants on the side of the road and started busking. And yeah, it's interesting. Life is very interesting in that sense. I gave up my IT job just to do full on busking, and I wasn't earning as much all of a sudden.
Of course.
Very weird. Very weird. Yeah. So, but I think it took me about 5 years, I guess. You know, fully. You've got to jump into that lifestyle and know what you're getting yourself involved with.
It's
true. It's just not like there are times like, because you don't have something that's solid and secure.
Yes, and it's not all fun and camaraderie from, you know, people.
It can be it can, yeah, but you have a point as well. So if you don't get a gig in a certain restaurant or certain bar as what you used to get, or there's another band that's performing better than you are and charging a lower price, right?
That cuts, but that's the reality of it.
That is the reality of it, you know.
That's
so there's no medical health plan for you.
True enough. You're not on APF. You're not on any other benefits.
Nothing. So and yeah, it's the lifestyle of the nightlife.
True enough.
It's yeah. I guess it's something that you want to take into consideration. A lot of people just think, it's a rock star lifestyle. That's awesome. You know, every night, every girl's looking at you like, you're the man. I'm like,
right. It's a little bit of that and a whole lot of other things too.
Yes, there's a lot of hard work, a lot of pressure. But I love what I do. At the end of the day, I still remind myself to compose music. Like how you're saying you're right and stuff like that. I still write my own material out there and push it and let people hear it, you know. So I feel very content. I feel like almost God speaking to me. It's really weird. I've spoken this to my mom. She goes like, what are you talking about? God's in church. I said, no, God's in my music. Is somewhere there.
Right.
And I'm not a church going person whatsoever. I'm just saying this. But
there's that fulfillment that you get.
There's a certain voice that speaks to me. I don't know. You know, I could be a bit delusional, but I'm pretty sure. You know.
All right. Okay. But I think that speaks for itself. I mean, the passion that you have is something that you found in the music you do.
Yes, definitely.
Now, tell us about your whole experience with AIM 2013. Going into it, I mean, there's the voting, the months of waiting, and the anticipation, the day itself. How was all of that?
Okay, that was a massive eye opener. It was something very interesting for me. Like I've never been tied down with a label.
That's right. I mean, the spirit of it is that you started out busking, you're a singer-songwriter, and then all of a sudden to be thrust into the mainstream spotlight.
That's right.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, like what happened was, I didn't expect to win. I mean, with Vima, we won Best Rock Song.
Right.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. I was in another band called Carbolics as well, so I was the frontman, the vocalist. I'm very well known for my vocals, and people love what I do. I love being a frontman. So that was really good. And then I came out with my own album, and they picked a song from there and said, hey man, you won Best Rock Song again.
Right.
Which is Look Into the Sky. And I was like, yay, cool song. And then we won Best Album Cover. And then after that, like, things have been going pretty well. So, and this is all on one platform though, with Vima.
Right.
Big thanks to Siva, who's out there. And what happened was, after AIM, we put in our nominations, and because the album we had Abang Roslan Aziz, who worked on it as well, who mixed and mastered it. Had some very good engineers, as Anand Kumar from Sonic Soul Productions. He worked on it as well, and good vocal guide. Overall, it was a great album, you know. So we put it in through for nominations. I was going like for the best local English song and stuff like that, you know.
Right. Okay.
And Malay song, but I didn't expect best new artist to come along, and then we put it through, and then we looked at all the other nominees. It's like, oh, okay, cool. This guy's backed up by this major label, that guy's backed up by this other major label.
Yes, it can all be a little bit intimidating.
Yes, it can be. Actually, I'm going to take a personal moment to make a big shout out.
Please do.
A very close friend of mine, Jeremy Little from Laguna Music. He is actually very responsible for this album because, as you can see, Laguna Music pushed it out.
That's right.
Jeremy passed away because of he had cancer, and he passed away. And it was after going to all these major labels and talking to them and trying to get my music and putting it out on all these other platforms like Deezer and stuff like that. No, I didn't get much of a response. So Jeremy from Laguna Music helped me get it out there.
He believed in you and got the word out.
He believed in me, and he got the word out, got the CD and the sales, everything was out there, and then we could put it through. It was a prerequisite prior to a nomination.
So there you go.
You know, and
so that vote of confidence came from Laguna and Jeremy.
Definitely. Jeremy was one of those cats that truly believed in me. A big shout out to him, and that on that day when they read out all the nominations, I was there beside me with my partner, and we just absolutely had butterflies in our stomach, and I said, this is so weird, and I was on crutches, and the guy who was reading it out, I can't remember his name, he dropped the card, right? And those announcers making fun. Heart stopped, and they said, oh, can you remember who's the winner? I said, yeah, I can. It's an easy name to remember. But my name's Alex Subrin.
Right.
So the second name Subrin is very unique by itself, right?
Yes, indeed.
So people go Subrin, Supreme, and people they get it confused. And there were some other bands that had easier names, and this guy went like, oh no, I remember the name, it's an easy name. I said, nah, we didn't get it. I said that was a dead giveaway. But he actually mentioned my name, and I got stuck there for about 20-30 seconds until my partner said, hey, get up.
It was you. It was Alex Supreme, did they call you?
No, he said Subrin.
Okay, Subrin.
Subryn. Alex Subrin.
And I was like, awesome. All right.
How does this guy know it? So
that's how it went. All right, so we'll cut to the commercial, and when we get back, Alex will be giving us a little taste of his music, so don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Terima kasih. Sama-sama. Terima kasih. Sama-sama. Sama-sama.
cerita, satu bangsa, satu Malaysia.
Halo, apa kabar pemirsa? Salam dari Jakarta. Sebuah program kerjasama Kantor Berita Indonesia Antara dengan Kantor Berita Malaysia bernama kembali hadir menjumpai Anda.
Welcome back to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, and Alex Subrin, singer-songwriter and AIM 2013 winner. Right, Alex. So you're telling us about the moment when the announcement was made at AIM 2013.
Yes, and so yeah, he dropped the card, and then he made the announcement, and they said Alex Subrin, and I was like, really? I was like, first it's not a big thing, but when you do win it, because a lot of my friends told me like, hey, you got nominated, blah blah blah, don't worry, you may not win, blah blah
right.
blah. I was like, man, why are you guys bringing me down so bad, and like,
right.
But when I won, I went up there, and I didn't expect to give a speech, but I gave such a long speech.
Right.
It was alright. It was pretty cool. But I wanted to say that I dedicated the award to my mom. But on TV here today, I'd like to say that I dedicated it to Jeremy, and it was his birthday a few days ago. And happy birthday, Jeremy Little. I know you're down here listening to this conversation. I told the other guys as well that it'll be probably their time to shine someday soon.
Right.
Yeah. But it was very interesting that I won because I didn't expect to.
Against all odds, almost.
Against all the huge labels. I'm an indie artist, so I play in independent music.
That's right.
I mean, I work with a lot of people from mainstream, but I didn't think so.
I think that's a huge sign. I mean, the sign of things to come.
Yeah,
I mean, 5 years down the road, the opportunities and the type of avenues an indie artist would have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I went back home. I mean, I was so proud of it. Everyone was so proud. I was really happy. I was just shining this thing like
there you go. All right. Why not? Let's have you hold it on camera for us. There you go.
I was like really happy. It's like a Grammy in Malaysia, and like opened up a lot of doors for me. A lot of people started calling me and like, check mic 1 2. And it was something just very interesting for me. AIM was something definitely very, very big. I was just really grateful to get it. And then now I'm actually thinking, what's the next thing?
Exactly.
What's the next big thing in Malaysia? I didn't expect to get it. I thought I'd win some other small awards and nominations, but the fact that I got it, I'm really excited. So I'm thinking, what's the next big thing? Where can I go? And I probably might try. I'm trying to venture out to countries like Australia, America, Europe and stuff. We've got a lot of talents down here in Malaysia.
We do.
It's just that we need a platform. These cats need an opportunity, some good managers, some good lawyers out there to teach them about what's happening, mechanical
actual
royalties.
Managers.
Managers. And not
people who are not just following you to set, but actually doing things, organizing things for you.
It hasn't actually bloomed up here.
No, we don't yet have a culture, be it for musical or, acting artists or even anyone in the industry. A manager over here, in essence, is just someone who tags along.
That's
who
right,
makes
like
way
a PA
for you.
and stuff
yes,
like that.
Yes, that's a PA's job,
PA's job. But a PA publicist, I would really say we need more people out there like sorting out your schedules and your shows and stuff like that, and be a bit more open to indie music. A lot of pages like platforms like The Weeknd is doing stuff like that as well.
Right.
And they've got a lot of indie bands that come and perform there. I admire these guys because one of the guys that I know is a friend of mine, Fikri. He works really hard to get people to know the local indie scene in Malaysia,
Right.
So they just need a bit of a chance there, bit of backup and some support,
Indeed.
Yeah.
So if you're going out to a gig, if you like music, live music especially, make sure you take yourself out there to any of these numerous venues all around KL, especially just this weekend. Yeah.
I'll be performing in the G Tower on every Fridays. That's in KL, and that's on Fridays, and on Sundays you'll catch me at the helipad. That's from 7:30 to 9:30, just like a very easy reggae sort of music.
Right, awesome.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's where you can catch Alex every week, twice a week already.
Friday in the G Tower, and that's Sunday at the helipad from 7:30 to 9:30. That's right. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Awesome. So thanks a lot for taking out the time, and you do actually have a busy schedule. It's not just, wake up whenever and do whatever. And I'm glad that you shared all that with us. I'm glad that you made it sound like as much hard work as it is, because people out there wondering, okay, it must be so easy.
You just wake up and just sing, no?
Not
it doesn't
exactly.
work like that.
Not exactly.
No,
all right.
a lot, yeah.
But before you leave us, would you give us a little sampling of what you've got?
Of course, I definitely will. I would love to give you a song by Queen. Let me just pull up my guitar that I planted here.
Okay, there you go.
All right. I have to put on my shades for this song.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Anything you need to get you into the zone.
This is Love of My Life. I started singing this last year.
All right.
Dedication to everyone on the flights that went missing and that were shot down. Love of my life, don't leave me. You've taken my love, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, take it away from me, because you don't know what it means to me.